Hey, aloha, good morning, good day, good wherever you are. Got some people from Hilo, some people from Western Washington, some folks from Germany. What's up? And New York. New York. That's where JC's from, right? New York. He's probably talking about the city though. Okay, so welcome to Korean Natural Farming Office Hours, July 23rd, 2023. 23. Thanks for tuning in. And gonna start with a bit of higher wisdom because, higher wisdom's always a good place to start. So today is mountain over thunder. The corners of the mouth providing nourishment. Give proper nourishment to yourself and to others. The image of this hexagram is that of an open mouth. And it comes to remind us that the nourishment of our bodies and spirit is important and merits our conscientious attention. The I Ching teaches us that if we wish to gauge someone's character, we should notice what he nourishes in himself and in others. Those who cultivate inferior behaviors and relationships are inferior people. Those who cultivate superior qualities in themselves and others are superior people. This is a test we should apply to ourselves as well as to others. What you put into your body is obviously important because it determines your fundamental physical well-being. It is wise to be moderate and thoughtful about the food you eat. What you put into your mind is even more significant. And regulating it is a more subtle art. This hexagram gives us 3-part advice on that subject. The first counsel is that we should not feed our minds on desire. When we forego our equanimity and begin to desire something or someone, a host of inferior influences come into play. We become ambitious about attaining the object of our desire. We become fearful that we will not. If we do achieve it, our ego is gratified and strengthened, and soon it issues another demand for us to meet. A self-reinforcing cycle of negativity is thus created. Therefore, it is wise to hold yourself free from desire. The second counsel is that we begin and continue in a regular practice of meditation. Sitting quietly with your eyes closed for even as little as 15 minutes a day begins to clear the waste out of our hearts and our minds, making room for the nourishment of peace and wisdom to enter in. To sit in meditation is to tune your ear to the voice of the sage and is the most powerful way of gaining his assistance. The final counsel is that we observe tranquility in speech, thoughts, and actions. By cultivating calm and equanimity in all that you say, think, and do, you nourish your superior self and that of those around you. One who follows these 3 counsels now meets with good fortune. So yeah, good to see all you folks. This week I listened to Yuval Noah Harari on Lex Friedman podcast. I don't know if anyone else out there listens to Lex Friedman, but he's a it's a good long form podcast, similar like Joe Rogan, but without the weed. And he basically said the same thing about what I was just talking about. And I was just telling my dad about this because I find that Yuval is like in with the WEF, the World Economic Forum, and he's like a globalist, and he's out there saying that, we can just program people and that you can't even think for yourself anymore and all these things. But what he does personally is he does exactly this. He's very careful about what he puts into his mind. And I usually am to the most degrees. I haven't been watching any Hollywood movies lately because I realize the deep programming that was put into me over those years of just, watching an action flick and like seeing all these propaganda and this deep psychological stuff that's put into you, or me, I guess me, and trying to deprogram myself from all these ideas, and then, regulating what goes in my mind. And so he prefers long form podcasts, which is what, he went on Lex Friedman. But, if you just watch a snippet or you just see a tweet or you just see a headline and that's all you're getting, you're not getting the depth of it. Right. And, this here, regular fans of this, it's pretty long form, an hour, of talking about natural farming, going deep into it. And understanding that, you really want to get into something, you're going to have to invest the time, energy, and listen to it for a while and many times, and then eventually you'll get it. And the other thing you've all talked about, which I always think it's good to check out the people that are, your enemies, so to say, or I don't know if he really is. I'm actually pretty pro-globalist, actually. But is that he does Vipassana, which is like silent, no speaking retreats. And every day for 2 hours, he sits there and does his own Vipassana type of meditation, which no speaking, just trying not to think, trying to clear your mind, trying to do exactly what it was talking about today in the I Ching, which is to any thought that comes into your head, like you get these thoughts like, oh, like if you just sit there quiet, you'll have some thought like, I got to do this, or I got to think about this, or I got to just, do that. Like, at least I'm talking from my experience, I'm actually pretty good at it. I was telling my wife, like, I've been playing Legos since I was a little kid. My mom would always be like, he just sits there playing Legos for hours. How the hell does this happen? And I've always been, I don't have that many thoughts in my head. I mean, I do have good ideas, but it's not like this voice constantly pestering me. It's like, it's more like I can just sit there and be quiet. Like, but when those thoughts do arise, like I think, oh, I got to do this, or I got to do that, like, like I've been trying to build this community and trying to, facilitate, interaction with you folks and make things better for all of us. And it's like, but just sitting there quiet and being like, as that thought arises, be like, okay, I see that. That's cool. But God, why don't you deal with that one for me? And then that calls in the assistance of the higher power of this, thing that we can't even begin to fathom of how it all works. And it brings that to the forefront and gives the problem to them. The bigger thing, I don't know what exactly to call it. Like, God's like one way, but some people don't like that word or whatever, but it's just like, obviously we're all connected to everything, and it's bigger, and giving it up to our, supreme higher power of, yeah, I mean, we all have different ways of envisioning that, but it's like what, your source, your like, yeah, I mean, yeah. So surrendering to that and just asking for that assistance is like, one of the most divine prayers. I mean, also the way I pray is I always just thank God. I'm just like, thank you for this. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I'm not like, please give me this and please give me this and make this person better. I'm always just like, thanks. And that's how I typically pray. But in that case where thoughts arise, you're just like, passing, you take that one. And then somehow, and the other thing Yuval does is he takes a one month or 2 months out of his year. I mean, he's like World Economic Forum rich guy, but he takes 1 month or 2 months out of his year to go to Vipassana retreat. And so for a month or 2 months, he just sits there and just he's quiet. And yet somehow he's able to still write a bunch of books and, be part of the World Economic Forum and give speeches about how you're just a robot and he's going to control you and that we need a great reset. And then it's interesting to hear him talk about communism and totalitarianism, whereas I feel what they're trying to do with the World Economic Forum is pretty communistic and totalitarianist. But I'm also pro-globalist in the sense that until we all become natural farmers and become sovereign, Thomas Jefferson like type of, competent citizens, that we really do need the globalists to, give us a thing that's going to kill most of us. And if you took it, then anyway, I don't want to get into that, but yeah. Yeah. So, hey, how's it, everyone? It's good to see you all. And so anyway, that's what I did yesterday. It was the Yuval Harari, which is actually interesting. It's always the I Ching always tends to line up with, what I'm thinking. And I think that's how it all works. And I think that's how, it's my understanding of God is this thing where it's like, things just happen where it's like almost improbable. Like what was, out of the 64 hexagrams, we got that one, which was the one that Yuval was just talking about, like specifically. Not that he's into the I Ching or whatever, but that, that's how it works. I don't know. It's God is great. That's all I can say. But yeah, what's up? We got Cecily from Western Australia in the house. George from Latvia. What's up, brethren? Cool. I hope you're doing well up there. Brandon, what's up, bruh? The goof. Yeah, man. Tyler from Oklahoma. Who else we got? It's funny, Tyler. I was just looking at your photos. I was because I finished the Master Cho presentation. I'm like, oh, what am I gonna do today? I gotta have something to keep it going for you folks. What's up, Pedro? Yo, aloha. And Sue, I don't how do you say it? S-E-A Sue. Hang on one sec. Let me pull this up. Sent me I think he actually left me a YouTube comment, but someone you've been teaching tuned in. He was talking about chickens. So, yeah. What's up, Printer Bear? How you, man? Owen Benjamin's podcast. Okay. I have to check that out. What's up, Joe? Long Island, New York. Yeah. If you're in Long Island, you're like in the city, huh? I think, right? It's like Manhattan and stuff. It's Long Island. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I've never been there, but, okay. I've always had my guard on eye gates and ear gates. Oh, yeah. And if people allow sorts of crap to seep into their mind without giving it thought. Yeah. Be able to shut the gates on your eyes and your ears, but also be open-minded enough to not just reject, like not, you got to hear the other side too, though. Not just be like, like certain people, certain political candidates, they won't even listen to like 1 second of them. They're just like, turn it off. It's like, you gotta at least listen to them a little bit to understand. And it's not that you can put it up as like you don't have to accept what they're saying, but you do got to hear them, because if you just like censorship and like, get rid of that's bad, it's malinformation, it's misinformation, it's like, it's still information. And you gotta, I Ching, classic art of war is like, you got to know what your enemies are thinking. If you don't know what your enemies are thinking or what they're saying, then you're getting in a self-reinforcing cycle of only hearing, preaching to the choir, only hearing your own side, and you get into this delusional bubble, right? So you got to hear what the other side's saying, and just like, you don't got to accept it, but you have to be willing to hear them and to hear what they're saying, because otherwise, you'll just hear propaganda from your own side demonizing these people. And it's like on both sides, That's why I always listen to liberal stuff. I always listen to conservative stuff. I always listen to independent media. I listen to it all. Not that I have to accept it, and I'm putting up the eye and the ear gates to know, but I'm also, open to it. So there's a fine line between all this, and the best way again is to hear them go to the source. Like if someone puts a headline of so and so is a racist, then go listen to that person and to see, are they really a racist, or is that headline just saying this? Right? I'm seeing that happen with RFK Jr. right now, where they say he's a racist, and it's like, well, you go listen to him, and it's like, he's actually not. He's really talking about peace and love and rebuilding America, and not that like, it gets into triggering words for certain people, but really inclusive, really a great person. But you got to go listen to him himself, right? I'm seeing that happen right now. But not that this is about politics. This is about farming. And Joe's 30 miles east of Manhattan. But isn't Manhattan 30 miles wide? You're still in Manhattan, man. I don't know. Anyway, half of Long Island is farm country. I did not know this. I thought it was just city on top of city on top of city. But I haven't been there. At least I flew into the airport once, I think, just to the airport to go to a different airline and leave. Okay, so with all that, if you guys got any questions, drop them in. And Brandon's talking about lab for treating fungal infection. My dog has an issue with her ear. We have crazy wet weather here in New Zealand, New Zealand. And by all accounts, lots of animals are suffering. I wonder if lab might do the trick. It might. LAB is great because it'll occupy the surface, and then it'll eat out the food source for other microbes, and it's compatible with mammals. So dogs are mammals, sheep are mammals, any kind of animal that's suffering from that. Lactobacillus is a great thing to put on them. But if it's a severe fungal infection, the sulfur works really well. It's a great thing to use. You can look up that disgustingly cheap sulfur. And those things. So yeah, New Zealand, cool. Yeah, so any, lactobacillus is always great. It's the protectors, right? You get them in there, protect things. Hang on a sec. Oh, I'm gonna turn this light on because I feel like half my face is missing. Does that work better? You can see the other side of my face. I don't know. Okay, so one thing I was thinking, one thing I wanted to ask is if you folks had any place you wanted me to head, any topics you wanted me to delve into. I may not get into it today, but anything you wanted me to kind of go through. I'd like to, since I'm done with that presentation and it took like a month to get through, and if you missed it, it's it was over here, and let me just do this and drag this here and go through, and it was this presentation here where we basically went from slide 1 of talking about Master Cho's The Farmer's Heart, going through philosophy, going through, the basics of natural farming, starting at 0, going through his whole philosophy, and then going into, the soil, why you should use IMOs, the trees breaking rocks, that's why paper always beats rock. I know how to collect IMOs, how to do IMO 2, 3, 4, this is, look at this. I mean, this is like this guy's soil and stuff. Like, this is just epic. And this is, again, Master Cho's presentation. And I covered all this. I went over it all. So if you guys were here for the whole ride, you must remember how fun that was to go over this whole thing. This guy jamming this rod down into the soil, which I can do now. Here, I have I always put in my rod for the my electric fence, and I just push it into the ground now. I don't even have to hammer it. But talking about, the difference between rice and flesh, basically there's nitrogen, which I can tell you lately I've been turned on to the amino acids, the KNF fuel. I'm going to try a radical experiment with it, but I think this nitrogen, this amino acids is just like the key for us. I was talking about soy sauce the other week, and just ever since then, I've been just like super thinking about that. Yeah, natto is great too. Natto at lab, that's great. Dealing with fungus, okay. Yeah, so going through groundwork, no-till, all this, we went through all this in detail, and I talked about each of these slides, explaining it, and, how to do seeds, the KNF medicine here, we went through all this. So if you missed it, go back to knfSupport office hours, go check these out, how to make plant juice out of mugwort, dropwort, the bamboo shoots, kudzu, how to make it from seaweed. That's always a huge question. People are like, can I do it from seaweed? It's like, yeah, here it is. All these things, so I'm going over it quick because I'm just reviewing, but we went over the nutritional cycle, all these things. I shared with you my slides on those, my take on it. Calcium, what else? Brown rice vinegars. So if you're just wanting the slides, you can just pause these videos. But yeah, going through all this, bacterial mineral water, fermented seawater. That was so fun. Wow, we really went on a journey here, I tell you. Went through all Master Cho's teachers. Yeah, so all this. Going through all the microorganisms, the aggregate, the structure, all these things, the pigs. And then we just finished, pigs was fun. I'm a pig farmer. Then we just finished up the chickens here. So we went through all that. So if you missed it, go back, find the things. They're always they're kind of at the end of the last presentations. And I may just aggregate all those into one presentation. Who knows? Also Sue's I'm looking at my thing here, but I've been building some things with Unreal Engine, but Sue's has been working a heck of a lot on the office hours, getting the table of contents together. I haven't uploaded them all yet, but I probably will do that after this. But office hours, if you go here and you look, a lot of the table of contents are going to be there. So those will be searchable here. You can just search, Master Cho, and, all the times we talked about Master Cho, and all these table of contents, Suze has been on it making them. So so it tells you like what minute you're looking for certain things, saying what's up to the good folks of the office hour. Yeah. So mold growing on KNF pour off, fan mail from Mike in Oklahoma. I think that's not how you spell Oklahoma, but fan mail gifts, all these things. So golden plow modeling, moles tunneling. This guy who's staying here right now, he was telling me about this. Apparently I already know about it, the golden plow. But anyway, it's great. Tons of content out there. And also just because I can right now in knffarm.com, got a course coming up. Got 3 folks coming from all over here to come to November. January's still open though. But yeah, it's good. Put out the classes, people come here, learn. It's a great experience doing all that. And good fun. So check it out, knffarm.com, sign up for a class, come be part of learning natural farming, get the taste, the smell, the full hands-on tactile experience, and become a better person, hopefully. Good friends, all that, keep in touch, do all those things. And Pedro says it's the best experience ever. Yeah, cool. Thanks, man. Yeah. It was tons of fun. It was really, had a good group cooking in the kitchen, and that's good. It's good. It's every time I've had fun. I think, yeah. So, and then, oh, Pedro was asking about the microscope. So let's just go to shooting darts. Yeah, that was pretty much. I haven't been shooting darts lately. I need to. So I'm gonna go to my channel here, and the microscope. If you're interested in the microscope, the microscope. So on my channel here, you know, click on the thing below, like, subscribe, put some Brazilian jazz on. Yeah. Yeah, that was fun. Right here is the microscope, though. Elaine Ingham, Common Ground 2012 Soil Food Web. Maybe I should call it the microscope course. But all it is, especially, this is a playlist, right? So if I go to default view instead of my theater mode, it will show the playlist here. And so got David Fortes introducing everyone. But it starts from the beginning to the end. This is like a 28-hour thing. But the microscope, she really gets into it here. Excuse me, not here. It's number 5. Here. This one. So the microscope, going through, you know, we're sitting around here learning about the microscope. And this is Elaine looking through the microscope. I'll mute her a little bit. But this is her looking through the microscope, and live up on the projector, we are projecting what she's looking through. So if you want to learn about the microscope, you know, Elaine is the, you know, world expert on it. One of the OGs, originators of looking at live soil cultures and looking through and seeing. And so I think I'll switch the camera angle up there in a minute. But this is her just explaining what the heck she's seeing, because we're here, we don't know what we're looking at, right? We've been doing IMOs for a few years at this point, and we never analyzed it. And she's the premier person about doing analysis. And so here's her, just as she's explaining it, how she'll like scan through what she's looking for, what she wants to see, you know, and so you get to see, and it's really pretty informative of how, you know, I think she's just scanning for nematodes right then. You know, it's a quick scan at 10 times power just to look for some nematodes. I don't think she found any. Nice sticks though. Look at those sticks. Wow. And she says the nematodes usually go to the sides. That's why she's viewing the side. Oh, there's a nematode. And she found one at 10 times power. See? I don't know if you know, it's a video of a video at this point, but she found one. It's over there wiggling around. Oh, there's another one. Look at that one. Wiggling around. So she found another nematode. And so to then identify what it is, she'll zoom in and like look at its mouth. And if it's moving around too fast, she'll put a lighter under it and heat it up a little bit. And but the nematodes hate the light. The heat from the light is pushing them towards the edge. You know, so here's her zooming in a little bit more. She's going to look at the mouth of that nematode to find out what kind of nematode it is. But nematodes are cool. They're little snakes doing their thing. What's up? How you, Willie? So yeah, so that's you know, the microscope video. It's on here on the channel. Looking at protozoans going around. What else? I don't know. But it's fun. It's good to look at those things. And then let's see what else. But this whole presentation that she talks about, you know, here's more microscope, but she really talks about, you know, how to do analysis of soil food web, how to do the whole thing. So, you know, like what makes, you know, you want to have, you know, what are the fungal categories when you're looking through them, you know, all this is great to do analysis on your own Korean natural farming. If you do have a microscope, and she doesn't necessarily do any natural farming that I'm aware of, but she does compost farming, and that's almost the same. It's just one small slice of Korean natural farming, but this whole deal, this whole presentation here, you know, if you want some long form, You want to sit there, you want to meditate, you want to go through it. This here is, pretty good. So with that, the other thing I was thinking, if you guys got any questions, let me know. Happy to answer those. But the other thing I was thinking that I would get into today, and I wanted to invite you guys, gals, fun guys, fun gals, invite you to let me know, hit me up if you are interested in getting an interview on here, sharing some experience. I think it would be good, since I've been so much on the presentation, it'd be good to like, side by side, like Zoom call you or something, and then live it to everyone of us, talking about successes, different things, ask questions that way. I did it a couple times with George, a few other folks. So if you're interested, hit me up. Let me know. Drake@pureknf.org is my email for this. And let me know if you want to be on there, on here with me, and doing this, because I think it's really valuable for people to hear sharebacks from other folks and to understand what's going on. So, and if you want to get certified in KNF, come to the KNF farm, knffarm.com. Come check it out. It's good stuff. So what I wanted to do right now, the rest of this office hour, maybe, if you have any questions, let me know though. I'll answer. I'm just going to go over a few, I was going to show you guys what it's like. Cool. So hit me up, Drake, DRAKE @pureknf.org. I'll just drop it in the chat right now. Send me an email and we'll get the connection details together. But I wanted to share with you this here, which, what is this? Well, this is, when I go to Korea, I always take pictures of their Kringlish, because it says, "This is disposable shower sponge for body. You had better use this sponge with soap or body cleanser. You should feel the satisfaction with refreshing." Awesome. Awesome. But I always kind of laugh at the Kringlish translations. It's like they use ChatGPT to translate everything. ChatGPT maybe like 2 or 3, 5. Yeah, and the course here, it's a week long. It's 7 days of like intensive stuff. Like, we don't just go. And it's like drinking from the fire hose. So, but so if you come here and you get into the class, like, you will learn more KNF than you ever thought was possible. Because I've been doing this for like 15 years, 20 years, I don't know, long time now. I'm getting old. And so I just share everything I know when you get here, everything I know with you, as quick as, as much as you can tolerate. We'll just keep going. So what I wanted to share with you here, this is my trip. So when I've been to Korea, I don't know, more than a dozen times, a bunch. And this is one trip that I went where the first thing we did is we got in and we stayed with Gokseong Cho. So here, let me put on my little mouse highlighter here. That doesn't even work here. But this is Gokseong Cho here. This is David Wong, and this is that guy. We went to Korea. Used to be a lot of unity in the Korean natural farming movement, and before people started to betray each other. And so we wanted to, so I wanted to share this with you. Dr. Park, man, he is a hero amongst heroes. He brought Korean natural farming to the Western world. And we got to cruise, and we got in this van with Gokseong Cho, and we went around the country. So here's us getting out of the hotel first night, getting there. And we got in this van with Gokseong Cho and Ray Yoon, and we cruised around. And it's kind of funny, in Korea, they have this app that tells you where the speed traps are. So when everyone speeds until the phone tells them to slow down, and then they slow down and they don't get tickets. It's pretty funny, actually. And so here's us, you know, look at that quality air in Korea, cruising through the bridge, coming across this bridge from Seoul, you know, going by the airport, high quality air. But look at that, man, this chemical factory down there at Babylon Industrial Korea. And Pedro wanted to know how to make more acidic vinegar. Well, if you start with fruit like this is grapes, and you then start to, you got to cook it down. You got to concentrate the vinegar to make it more acidic. And that's the way to make it more acidic, is to cook it down after you make it. So make a can of food with the vinegar, and then cook it down, and you will make it more acidic. So make a regular vinegar, and then make it more acidic. What the heck? Why is that popping up? Let's go back to this one. Make that one pop up. I made my thing not as big as I wanted it to be. That's okay. Oh, my waiver, my desktop. I want it to stay over here. Stay over here and show that. Okay. I'm just going to go with this size because that's where it is. The vinegar does not necessarily solubilize certain rocks. I mean, it'll dissolve things with that are basic. It'll dissolve basic rocks, but it won't dissolve any and all rocks, you know. And that's not the way that they're making the they're not making the water minerals that way. They're not doing it with vinegar. It's a different process. But so yeah, that panhandle of Oklahoma, breathing glyphosate and dirt. Yeah, we're poisoning the earth and killing it everywhere globally. First time I went to Korea, I cried a little bit when I first landed there because I'm like, they're killing the earth here too. Yeah. So we went to this grape farm, and this guy grows amazing grapes. And he uses some natural farming. What he's using is a ton of charcoal, so biochar and IMOs into his ground. And then he'll trellis up these things. And if you look at it, you'll see only a few vines coming from the ground up. And then he trellises them all hanging above so that the grapes hang down. And he does a lot of, different, he basically doesn't do too much. He puts a lot of the biochar down and sprays some microbes, and the grapes do great. And he also has this, this is looking at the ground. Do you see the amount of char that's there? Like, I don't know if you can see the charcoal in there, but he also just grows a ground cover of clover and lets, people sometimes are like, you got to get off the ground. You got to make it clean. Like, look at this. This is a grape leaf falling to the ground and just decomposing. And he's not worried about this spreading disease or rotting or anything. It's because this is so fertile and so lush. And walking in here, it was so lush. So we're just looking at all the grapes, and he puts these packages on them, each thing, because they're high value there. He's going to make like $10 off each cluster of grapes kind of thing. And so he has this, it's all inside a greenhouse. It's not outside, it's in a greenhouse. And, he's trellising these things up along these poles and everything. And then you can see he drives his machine through, and he does spray something on them. I'm not exactly sure. But here's the leaf just decomposing, not worried about the disease spreading. But look at the amount of char. Again, there's so much char. That's the key. You really want to have something super productive like this. Just put charcoal everywhere. And then on the back here, these logs over here, these are mushroom logs. So you can tell he's also growing mushrooms underneath. So he's inoculated and drilled into these and put all spores in there. He's going to grow, I don't know, if it's shiitakes or something like that. But again, looking at the ground, grapes falling, right? He's not worried about that. He's not worried about cleaning it up. Grapes falling, good soil, ground cover coming in, doing his thing. Here's Young Song Cho. He claimed that this dude was doing, jadam farming, but I don't think he really was. He might, I forget, I should go watch the video again. But getting through the key is like, you got a soil like this, you're not going to have problems. You got this much char in there, you're not going to have problems. I mean, look, Young Song Cho is even happy. It's rare. And then here's his other system. So he is doing some fertigation. So he's doing two things. One is here, you know, this system here, he's mixing his mixes into here with water and fertigating these out. This here is also a, I think it's a low pressure brewer, like a heated insulated brewer thing for doing some microorganism type of stuff. And then this here is his spraying vehicle. So this tracked thing that he can load in and drive under everything and spray up onto his canopy and into his leaves. So he's doing some sort of fertigation. And here's, you know, look at his pump. And I think this is the water. And then he puts his solutions in this. And then he'll suck it out with a venturi into this system, which then pumps it out there. So his water, puts his solutions in here. And then this, he'll crack one of these valves right there enough so that as the water is flowing, it'll start to draw this water in and then pump it out. And then, so there's some of his solutions there. And so he's able to do, you know, he is doing some fertigation, which is smart in a system like this. And then I think this was his low pressure drum or something that he was heating up. I don't know exactly. I should watch the video again, but that's why I take video, because my mind, you know, it's not only so much you can remember. But he has a greenhouse where he can roll up the edges and manage it, keep it cool in the summer and warm in the winter. And this is looking at his greenhouse from the outside. So he also has a, it's dual greenhouse, so it's insulated. So he has one cover on the outside, then another cover inside. And then he can also vent the top if he needs to. And then we were enjoying some delicious grapes. And he talked story to us for a while. Ray translated it very kindly. But these grapes were just amazing. They're seeded grapes, which is kind of interesting. In America, it's all about seedless grapes, but these are seeded grapes, and they're pretty good. And so he's organic, doing his thing. His thing is called Star Farm. And that's the farmer himself, man. Look how awesome he is. He's happy. He's stoked. He's making money. And then here's his plaque. I don't know what that says. Maybe someone can read it. And then looking at the grapes, these amazing grapes, he gave us a whole bunch. After that, we then went to this restaurant and started to eat. And this was just the first course. I did not know, so I ate until I was full. And that was the first course of 3, which is common in Korea, I guess, or at least when you go into a high-end restaurant. And it was like, oh my gosh, it was pretty darn delicious. But I way overate. And look at David Wong. He's like, I don't eat. I have cancer. But he's doing good now. He recovered. Kimchi soup. Love that stuff. All these weird little dishes of goodness, different fermented things, different fishes, different sauces. Koreans really know how to eat well. And then miso soup. And what else? All that goodness. And then here's this like typical Korean street. You know, all these nice work trucks they have. And there's the restaurant. And then we went to a pig farm. So I have not read Oliver Hussein's course on redox chemistry. Maybe Partita did. She's pretty smart in chemistry. And phosphorus solubilization by actobacters. Yep. That's why they're in the IMO. That's why the IMO is so powerful at cleaning up any poisons, any residual like glyphosates, and so here's us at the pig farm posing, looking good. And again, this is just like an example of those no smell pigs I was talking about last time. This one is, they're raising them for commercial meat. These pigs are about to be sold off at this point. They're about reaching their maximum capacity, but they're on a deep litter system. This guy did not put logs down. He just put in rice holes and made the rice holes about 4 feet deep. There was a tiny bit of smell with this because this density of pigs and that there was a little bit of smell, but not much. It wasn't horrendous by any means. It was just, you could smell their urine a little bit mainly. And if he put the logs down and he'd done the whole system and he had inoculated better, it probably wouldn't be as much smell, but he was running pretty high density. This guy was doing a huge operation. And the way he designed it was that so he could, there's the farmer there. He had this auto feeder coming down for them, which Master Cho always like. We went to the same farm with Master Cho, and Master Cho was like, this guy doesn't have enough heart for all his animals, but you know he's doing well. He's you know making money and doing the thing, and we did have to wear the Tyvek suits, but he basically has it set up so that he can, after he's done with the pigs, he will lift all these things out and be able to drive his skid steer in here and harvest all this material. And I think that's really how he was making his money, is he was selling the pig floor to other organic farms as a compost thing. And, you know, I'm always impressed by the machinery that they have in Korea. I would, you know, if I had one of these at my farm, it'd be so cool. I'd really love to get a machine like this. But different things that you see, you know, organic swine feed. He's just feeding them pellets here. It's certified organic. And this is an example of his piggery where, you know, this is what it looks like. So he can drive his skid steer in here and harvest all this stuff really easily. So he has a concrete floor and he can just come in here and just clean these things and sell that material. So that's how he was doing it and making it work for him. You know, obviously you see how these feeders and everything are up. It's because that this whole bottom would be filled with rice hulls. And that's how he was running the system. And here's it, you know, I think this one was ready to be harvested type of thing. And yeah, so he would, or maybe that was the dirt. Maybe this one didn't have a concrete floor. Maybe he's like fixing that one. I don't know. Again, there's a video of this, but, yeah, so this was just looking at his operation from the side. So I'm always impressed with just the infrastructure these guys have. His roof, where he had the slot, you know, it heats up, sucks the air out. So you get to see a practical example of what we're talking about in the presentation. Here's his auto feeders. You know, he dumps the feed in here and then it runs it through these augers up and brings it out to his different pig pens. So he just dumps it in these augers, move the food up. There's Young Sung's van. And some silage. I don't know what he was doing with that. I didn't ask. So looking at that, here's again just the pig operation. These, you know, he has the nice curved roof. He went with the Master Cho curved roof design. So he's you know, he's taking what Master Cho said and then like scaling it up. And I think this was like 1,000 pig operation, something like that. I think it might have been 1,000 pigs and like 800 sows or something. I don't know. It was huge. But then we went to, I think this is a pepper farm, experimental pepper farm at a university. So these guys are doing different trials at a Korean university. And this guy was using a bunch of, that's Jadam sulfur, and that's Jadam wetting agent. So the soap and the sulfur, liquid sulfur that he was using. And here's his water softener. So if you're going to use the soap, it's important to do it with soft water. And he's running this water softener so you can take the well water, soften the water before it runs into his lines. I think that's a filter, but that's a water softener. And then he's doing these peppers, and he had next to no disease on the peppers, which usually these peppers are super susceptible, especially in this greenhouse, especially the way, you know, commercial raising. He's raising them commercially. He's just using the wetting agent and the sulfur, and he's apparently using a little bit too much because you can see burning on the tips. So he was going a little bit heavy, but I think this was his experiment, what he was doing. But look at all these really nice peppers that he's getting out of here. And there's me with the peppers. And here's him. His name was Nam, Professor Nam. I remember when I was with Professor Nam. And so there's Young Sung Cho, you know, and he advised him, hey, ease up a little bit on it. You're burning a few things. And for some reason, this one plant died. I don't know what happened, but and I was just looking at, you know, the peppers. Is there any disease on them? They're looking nice. It looks like that one's being eaten right there. Is that just me? Maybe not. But he was doing a good job. They were really looking awesome, and he's just doing an experiment. It's always fun to take things and make it, scientific experiment where then he can write a paper and get credentials, and then further people can look at it and be like, oh, this actually works, because they don't just trust people. I don't know. It's a weird world we live in, for sure. But here was this university, and this was one of the major agricultural universities in Korea. And we're going to go inside and see the National Institute of Horticulture and Herbal Sciences. I'm sure some people want to get a degree in herbal science. I definitely do. Oh, bro, what you can degree in? Oh, herbal science. Yeah, bro. But it looks like it started in 1953. Year of the snake. They must love controlling things. And they had all these, notice, press the button in the sink. See, I love the Kringlish. Press the button in the sink. Beep, 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 beep. And then later on that tour, I guess was that it? No, we went to a bunch of trash compactors and stuff. But Joe, the goofball McGinn, coming over Korea. The whole crew, man. Bolo-san, Anti-Chai, or Anti-Chris, Anti-Chai. Yeah, so then we went, look at that. That was, yeah, where's the pictures from the pear orchard? They didn't make it in. I don't know, but we got this pear from that pear orchard. I know there's a video of it. And then we went to, where's this? I can think of the name. Oh, man. Konkuk University. And went to this ag symposium here. And yeah, there's and then we had all these presentations by all these guys, like these African guys, come to Korea to study natural farming. I think he's from Ghana or Zambia or something. I know sometimes some people from Tanzania tune in, but there are some great African folks that have been, studied in Korea and got PhDs in KNF. And, so we got this whole thing where all these speakers went through. This guy was from Afghanistan. So they all talked about it, yeah. So taking photos of them, but we went through a whole, Professor Kim, where was he? Not that guy, but, he, so each person gave their presentation on this. So if you're interested in their PhD presentations, I did video this as well. It's it's on my YouTube channel, man. What a rich YouTube channel that I share. But look for it. It's called, Natural Farming Simposium. I think you'll find it. So here going through, so each of these things, talking. Then afterwards we went to the coffee laboratory, just Korean street food, Korean, walking around. There's Americano 4 types, cafe latte 4 types. It's important you put that outside, that you have 4 types of coffee at the laboratory. And hanging out, talking about Jesus and good things he's done in our lives with these 2 folks here. Hope he's still doing good things for those people's lives because they need him. But he's talking about chickens, this guy, studying chickens, studying all these things. So I'll go through this a little quicker, but all these interesting facts where they've done these studies, like, on Trichostima orchidanum leaves, leaf powder. So this is some sort of powdery leaf mold, that he's studying. And, when you get into the science, but Master Cho came to talk to us and he was like, yo, you guys got this. And this was like all these people studying and getting PhDs in, what he taught. So this guy kind of synthesized and brought together all this stuff, and then all these other people got PhDs, and then this guy brought it to America, and then this guy's bringing it to China and Taiwan, and just these amazing legends sitting down with these great people. And Professor Kim, man, he's amazing. Started the first natural farming PhD program in the world, and then we got to go hang out and share with him what we're doing, because we're on the ground doing this. And look at this amazing Korean food, grapes and jello, and I don't know what else that is, but Dr. Park on the phone, always busy doing his thing. And the Hawaiians, look, I guarantee everyone else is done eating. The Hawaiians still eating. Hawaiians love to eat. And, the Hawaiian crew, unreal. And this is the Afghani dude. So if you're in Afghanistan, look up this dude. He works for the Department of Ag there. He knows what's up. I don't know his name, but I have it somewhere. But and then again, eating. I can tell you, every time we go to Korea, we eat well. This isn't Muju. Eating. Look at all that good food. This is after we're done eating. There's that much food left over. It's like, no wonder they raise a bunch of pigs there. That kimchi jjigae, oh, that's my favorite right there. And checking out Jesus. This Jesus was in a cool posture. He was leaning forward and flying. It was pretty cool. But going to Muju, is it Gokseong? No, this is Gokseong. Sorry, it's not Muju. It's Gokseong. Sorry. But going to the Korean Learning Center, checking out their learning center. They have this demonstration center, all dedicated to Master Cho's methods, teaching people all these things. Going through, looking at this, they're even growing taro there, kalo. And then look at these different rices with these different things, experiments, all the preps, taking the bones, charring them, making the dilutions, the solutions, taking the oyster shells, making those not charred, but toasted, making it sesame seeds, making the phosphorus here, charred sesame seed, and then what is this one? Charred tobacco stalks, making the phosphorus, potassium, one was phosphorus, one was potassium. And then, here's what it looks like when it's dissolved into the solution. But look at this. It's like, this learning center is pretty epic, talking about the different fermented plant juices, different things, fruit juices, making a can of foods these different ways, making the can of medicine with the garlic, cinnamon, licorice, angelica. And so this place is pretty cool. If you haven't seen the video, check it out. But going through, seeing all these things, different flowers that they're using for different things. Bruce Lee over there. And then this learning center, this is where we did the poultry training. So if you've seen that, we do a lot of training stuff in this building here. I'm not sure what that is. Seeds, maybe. Seeds of some sort. All the grass trials, race trials. Look at this nice conference room. If I had more funding, I would build something like this. Bathroom, most important place. And outside of the training center. And then they have this equipment rental area. This over here, they rent all this equipment to people at a super subsidized price. And then talking about the microbes, moles, very important, worms, all the microbes, all these things that we talked about. Look at these evil pathogens. That's pretty cool. And then the happy garlic and happy, I don't know what that is, but look at these people there. They're happy too. They're like, yeah, we can farm with our kids because we're not poisoning them. Hey, thanks, Stonemason. Thanks. Oh, you would be happy, man. I've just been mixing mortar mix. I actually melted all my fingers off, but I built this cool wall for my river. Now I can, now it worked. Oh, by the way, I survived a tropical storm this past week. I don't know if anyone, it wasn't bad, but lived through almost a hurricane. So Anyway, here's these dudes. So wrapping it up, we'll go through, we'll just finish up this little bit here of going through the learning center. You know, this is where they do all the ferments. Farmers actually come here and ferment with them. So if you can start something like this where you're at, just build a small little greenhouse, bring farmers, have them start fermenting, make it easy for everyone, do these things, you know, show them all the things. These are the different rocks that go in the BMW, all those things. You know, here's the BMW machine. I show this in another video for sure of it operating, doing its thing, you know, recycling pump, all that. We talked about that. Different rocks. This is Elven rock. Pretty cool stuff. Not sure what that is, but it's awesome. Other awesome rock. And maybe that's Elven rock. I don't know. One of those is Elven rock. One's basalt. But a little timer on this to run every 15 minutes. Just filters this around. Makes really good BMW water. Here it is running. Yeah. Here's their pump on there. Pretty awesome. And yeah, I like the BMW. And this is what it looks like when the water falls into there. It falls on all these rocks. It drops about 3 meters down onto these rocks. About 10 feet drops onto these rocks. And then the water circulates around with IMOs floating in there. And then they had a huge IMO machine. This is, low pressure heated vacuum to like put the stuff in. This is also Mr. Cho. He's the researcher in charge of this whole facility. Little composting thing that they built out of bamboo. Put the stuff in there. It's like a Johnson Sioux bioreactor where they'll put stuff in there and ferment it that way. And then this lady also runs the facility. This was Master Cho's squeeze before he met Mrs. Cho. And she still got the natural farming fever and still runs this facility. Yeah, yeah, it melted through my fingers. It actually made blood come out. It's crazy. I learned to wear gloves when I use mortar mix. But yeah. But here's the, facility. It's this awesome ag office and the Gokseong County emblem. And then check out this sprayer vehicle. It's the last little bit of today. But look at this sprayer vehicle. Runs this fan through. And then these misting nozzles, you can just drive this thing around and it has a generator and a pump under it and a huge tank in it. And look at that thing. This here spraying the water out, and then it puts all this mist into that air, and it's this thing. So this has a huge fan in it that you can rotate wherever, and those misting nozzles are in the tip of this thing. And so you can just drive down the field spraying all this natural farming. Like, this is cool tech. If you're really going to go big, you should get one of these vehicles. And yeah, there's the fan, sucks the air in, and then it can rotate here and rotate there. So you can, pretty much angle it wherever you want. And this thing was, and then there's this big 1,000 liter tank, I guess, probably 1,000 liters. I would assume it's 1,000 because this is 1,000 FV. And I think maybe that's a filter on there. I don't know, maybe an injector or something. But, here's the generator under there, the pump running all this. And pretty amazing vehicle. And then these spray reels, so you could go out and spray just by on hand or on foot if you wanted to, with these spray reels. And this whole thing running. But this, amazing, man. I got to get a Bongo 3 and put these on the back. That'd be the, yeah, the hydraulics here and all that. But this was a cool vehicle. That generator. They got a Kohler, Command Pro. Also, they're using an American engine. You'd think they'd use a Honda, or a Kia. Instead of Kohler engine driving that thing. Big tank. Then you just drive from up here and you get this little video monitor. You can see where you're spraying as you're driving. All these things to operate all the back and cruising. So that's that. And then the Gokseong Castle. It's right near the agricultural ministry. Yeah, then we headed out to go tour the countryside. So anyway, I want to share a little bit of Korea with you guys. I don't know. Hopefully that's fun, exciting, interesting for you. I do got more. Would love to interview some of you folks, get into the deepness of natural farming and go into it. So if you do, send me an email, or, you know, let's do something good, because I've answered a lot of questions. There's 85 episodes out there. So if you're interested in learning, go check out the past episodes, knfSupport.com. Thanks to the Pure KNF Foundation. Thanks to Master Cho, Pure KNF, the whole crew that is behind me that you don't even see, that makes this stuff happen, because I'm just one guy doing my thing. I'm really happy to be here with you guys today. Thanks for tuning in from all over the world. Go grow great things. Teach natural farming. Together we can do it, and to make the world just a little bit better. Tiny, tiny, tiny bit better. Thanks, Pedro. Keep doing the good work down in Brazil. Thanks, Willie. Keep it up in New Zealand. All you guys and gals, really appreciate you tuning in. I'll see you next week. Korean natural farming out. Peace, love. Love.